Starts right now.
And Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt with you here for Weather Extra. It was the Christmas spirit in downtown Piedmont last night during the annual Christmas parade. WBRC's own Reggie Kyle and Mickey Ferguson were in the parade, along with floats, vehicles, and other attractions. It started at the Old National Guard Armory and ended at the Civic Center, where folks could get some refreshments. Nice time, nice evening. Great to see our weather watcher Rick Freeman there in Piedmont as well. Well, the next big thing, of course, the cold weather. Now, the temperatures last night, I saw some weather watcher reports as low as 26, 27 degrees. Didn't see low 20s. We had some clouds that moved in. I know Megan and Matt talked about that earlier today. However, tonight, we've got a clear sky, calm conditions. We've got this Arctic air to the north. We're going to see some really cold weather out there tomorrow morning. Low 20s, several hours, 10 plus hours at or below freezing tonight. Let's get to it here. We'll talk about that freeze tonight and also what's next. Another hard freeze coming in Friday morning. So we're going to see more of these kind of temperatures. So plan for that later on this week. But in between, a cold rain tomorrow night. That's something that's coming up. And then next week is starting to trend a lot wetter. It looks like not just early next week, but we may see a series of systems that will bring wet weather for next week. So a lot to talk about here. Let's go over to AccuTrack. And again, you can see temperatures around 28 right now at Coleman. So that temperature is certainly dropping quickly out there. 35 at Tuscaloosa. So next update, we'll probably see more freezing conditions across West Alabama. Out the door tomorrow morning, the temperatures down into the 20s. Look at Gadsden showing 20 degrees, even around Alabaster, 23. Hoover back in towards Birmingham, mid-20s. West Alabama, Knoxville, Utah there around 24. 23 around Hamilton and Hackleburg. Jasper early tomorrow morning. So we have temperatures like that, and then we're talking about rain tomorrow night. And you're probably thinking, what? Well, are we going to see any frozen precipitation? Well, the wet weather is going to hold off until late tomorrow. It looks like during the day, temperatures modify, but it's going to stay chilly. And then we start to see some moisture lifting in from the southwest. By 6 to 8 o'clock, we could start to see some rain here in our far southwest areas, places like Livingston, Demopolis, Utah, Aliceville, Pickensville, maybe here around Vernon and Sulligent. And then we get to 8 to 9 o'clock. Notice around Fayette, Oakman, Jasper, back to the north here around Carbon Hill, Alabaster, Clanton, Rockford, Sylacauga, Pell City, and then 9 to 11 o'clock, Gadsden, Anniston, also back in towards Ashland. Also Cherokee County, we'll probably see a few showers, but I got to show you this. These are wind chills here tomorrow night, and look at this. There's parts of the country for the first time this season we'll be talking about sub-freezing wind chills. It looks like we could see wind chills below zero as far south as the Ohio Valley. And again, we're going to get a little taste of that air. That's what's coming up behind that rainmaker on Friday during the morning. Notice 22 degrees out there Friday morning, 28 Saturday morning. Now, we won't have sub-freezing wind chills, but the wind chills will certainly be in the teens. You'll notice that Friday as that cold air arrives. But notice next week we do trend a little bit milder, and that's because we do have rainmakers coming back next week. We'll start to see a good chance of rain there that we'll be tracking on Monday. But as we continue to talk about the cold and the snow, Piedmont Triad International Airport in North Carolina just got its first measurable snowfall in nearly 3 years. Hard to imagine, but this is the region that includes Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. Their last measurable snowfall was more than 1,000 days ago, with 1.8 inches on January 29, 2022. They received 0.4 inches yesterday, ending their second longest snowless streak. Cold weather also bringing icy roads and traffic problems. And we're not the only ones taking notice to all the snow happening. The furry friends as well. Our furry friends getting in on the winter wonderland as well. This was from Tim Davis in Yancey in North Carolina, where they saw 9 inches of snow, and certainly thinking about all those folks there that were impacted by the snowy weather and after Helene, obviously, those areas have been tremendously impacted now dealing with all this cold weather. But you can see those temperatures, again, those lows for us by Friday and Saturday, we'll have readings back down into the 20s again. And in New York, a raceway for cats and residents as they shoveled their backyard after recent snow. There's been so much snow happening in that area, I mean, by the foot. So it's a rush and a dash to clean up. But you can see the cats dashing through the snow minus the sleigh as they enjoy time outside. The residents carved out the path before the Buffalo Bills game this past Sunday. And further north into Canada, it gets even colder, and we check out these images showing cars buried under the snow, unreal. It's even taller than a person. This snow came after lake effect snow continues to impact parts of that region along with the U.S. And we first brought you the details behind lake effect snow yesterday, but here to explain it more in depth and bring you a First Alert Weather Extra on those snow totals from this event is meteorologists Matt Daniel and Megan Thomas.
Last night, social media was buzzing with pictures of snow, yes, in the south, but not in Alabama. No. Our closest relative to the north, Tennessee, saw a quiet dusting. But you know where there's been more snow over the past 3 days? Right, the Great Lakes. I mean, we're talking several inches, actually several feet worth of snow up through off of Lake Erie, over 20 inches of snow up through Buffalo, New York, over 30 inches of snow, almost 35 in the city of Watertown. So Matt and I did some digging and we found some of the highest snow totals for this particular snowstorm. Can you imagine 60, almost 66 inches of snow?
If that happened here,
we would be shut down.
We would be forever.
Yes. Forever.
We would be nonstop coverage for days.
Saybrook, Ohio saw over 60 inches of snow. Pennsylvania almost 60. And in Michigan, they picked up almost 47 inches of snow. And there's only more to come. But I think the question for a lot of people is, what is lake effect snow? Because we don't necessarily see that very often or ever in Alabama.
That's right. So you got the Great Lakes, right? And usually when it comes to these lake waters over the fall, it's been pretty warm. So those water temperatures are well above freezing. And then in the wintertime, you get this cold air mass. So you get those northerly winds. And everywhere that's on the southeast side of those lakes, that's where they're getting that lake effect snow, seeing the snow in Michigan, of course in Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio, and of course traditionally we're thinking Buffalo, New York. They always seem to have intense lake effect snow. So check this out. I want to show you an explainer of exactly how this works when it comes to lake effect snow. So here's the setup. You got the surrounding land areas, generally colder than lake. So let's just say the water levels, temperatures are what, maybe in the 40s, 50s. But then you've got very cold air, maybe in the teens, single digits, coming across that lake. Well, the wind flow pushes the air mass over the lake and the colder air warms, and then you get a lot of lift. And that lift creates clouds, eventually moisture. And that moisture, of course, becomes snow, and you get those bands continuing to form and move over the same spots, and you get feet of snow, so it can be very intense.
Yes, I mean, we saw it this past weekend in Buffalo, New York, where they had the Bills game, and they got all of the fans to come out to help clean out the stadium. And it looks like with the future radar, they're going to see more and more bands. That cooler air running over that quote-unquote warmer water creates a mess. But you know what?
What's that?
They're used to it.
They're used to it.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny though, Megan? Sometimes you will get those northerly flows as well in the wintertime when we get some of those snow showers, flurries. It doesn't really cause any issues, but it's pretty to look at. Sometimes in the small scale of things, like some of our lakes up to the north, they are also warmer than the cold air that moves over, and sometimes that can create a small effect of lake-enhanced snow. But of course, nothing like there in the Great Lakes.
I mean, several feet. Something to keep in mind if you're traveling that way over the next week. They've got more on the way.
Yeah, maybe even some thunder snow.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I like it.
Coming up in just 30 seconds, we continue to talk about the hard freeze expected for tomorrow. And we go to space, where some cool phenomena happen this week. We'll be right back. You are watching First Alert Weather Extra. And welcome back into Weather Extra. For tomorrow, of course, hard freeze overnight tomorrow morning, but during the day the temperatures do rise into the 50s. It's still chilly out there, but we have jumped right into winter mode here in Alabama. Looks like afternoon highs in the 50s. Clouds move in, and then the wind shifts around. It's going to be more south to southwesterly later in the day. That's going to bring in some clouds in the afternoon, and then tomorrow night we start to have moisture that lifts in from the southwest, and that's what's going to generate some of that wet weather. Just kind of to give you a preview of some of the model data. Doesn't look like heavy rainfall, but timing-wise, this mostly comes in after sunset. There's just a snapshot. This is some of the new high-res data showing 10 o'clock tomorrow night. You can see scattered showers, certainly not a heavy rain, but enough rain to where there's going to be some wet roads out there. Light rain event moves out early Thursday, and then another big drop in temperatures. But we've been talking about all this cold weather out there, and a common illness that's likely to spread in these fall and wintertime conditions is pneumonia, of course, which is an infection of the lungs. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains who is at the highest risk and what everyone can do to help prevent pneumonia from spreading as we head into the colder season.
Every year in the U.S., pneumonia causes more than 1 million hospitalizations and more than 50,000 deaths.
This is the time of year where respiratory viruses start picking up.
Pulmonary Dr. Joseph Cabaza with Cleveland Clinic says there are several types of infectious pneumonia, but bacteria and viruses are common causes of the lung infection. People at increased risk are adults 65 and older, and that risk continues increasing with age. And children younger than 5, the younger they are, the higher the risk. Chronic medical conditions can also put a person in danger, including heart disease, liver disease, lung disease, diabetes, and those with a weakened immune system.
The close spaces and minimal ventilation, that's kind of a perfect storm for anything that's spread via an aerosolized way.
That's why Cabaza says colder months, when people spend more time together indoors, makes it easier for all germs to spread. He says a key to protecting yourself and loved ones is vaccination.
The big three that can give us really bad viral pneumonias, let alone bad viral illnesses, are influenza, COVID, and RSV. And there is one vaccine for the most common and deadliest kind of bacterial pneumonia, which is called streptococcal pneumonia.
Cabaza says good hygiene practices can help slow the spread as well, including hand washing, not touching your face, and covering your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says common symptoms of pneumonia include chest pain when breathing or coughing, confusion, cough, fatigue, and of course fever or chills. Well, we're going to switch gears now as we head beyond the atmosphere to an asteroid. It was spotted over Siberia and was said to be around 2 feet in diameter. It caught the attention of local residents and thankfully posed no threat to those on the ground as it soared through the sky, and of course the atmosphere protected us as it all burned up. Several objects the size of this asteroid are said to hit Earth each year, and we see several of those, and we see those meteor showers that happen as well, and we'll be giving you more updates on that to come. And get this, the James Webb Telescope capturing some stunning new images of the Sombrero Galaxy with a twist. The M104 galaxy earning that nickname due to the resemblance of the hat, but this time the Sombrero Galaxy's inner disk of the galaxy was smoother than usual, making the crown of the sombrero invisible. The result is a view of the galaxy that's more closely resembles a bullseye. Just fascinating to see. Almost doesn't look real. You know, you see some of those images, just incredible. But hey, still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra, we're talking about the rain as we move towards the middle of the week and how much we're expecting to see. Plus, we're going to talk to you about how you can create clean energy right from your home. We'll see you back here on Weather Extra. Welcome back to Weather Extra. First alert for a hard freeze out there tonight. Several hours below freezing, 10+ hours, lows down into the 20s for the start of the day tomorrow morning. Checking in with our First Alert weather watchers. At last check, we had some current conditions coming in. Tommy Stallings, our weather watcher in Galesville, checked in at 35. We had 38 from Mount Olive, Christy Bolton. Kenneth Wilkinson and Dora at 38. Debbie Alexander in Graysville at 38. 34 at Smoke Rise, and 36 from Tyler Young in Trussville. But our First Alert weather watchers with some cold conditions. By the way, if you want to be a First Alert weather watcher, you can sign up at WBRC.com. All right, let's go over to the camera view from Sanders Aviation, showing 28 right now. So we're below freezing here in Walker County. Coleman down to 27 degrees. So we stay here through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that means tonight we have a hard freeze, several hours below freezing. Check on family, friends, make sure everybody has a warm shelter tonight. Our furry friends have a warm shelter. The pets and the pipes, make sure the pipes are dripping tonight. You'll want to put on those faucet covers. And also, of course, hopefully by this point you have the plants protected. I noticed last night we left one plant outside, had to get that thing indoors. But looking ahead, next few days here, we are going to see quite a few changes. So you'll want to check the First Alert weather app. Now, first off, tonight we have the freezing conditions overnight. Now, watch what happens here tomorrow morning. We start out in the 20s. By the afternoon, 4 o'clock, we warm back up into the 50s. I say warm, it's still chilly, the low 50s. You'll want the jacket later in the day. Clouds quickly build in, and look at this, we got some rain tomorrow night. There's 8 o'clock, showers building in across West Alabama, spreading into central and eastern areas. Certainly not a heavy rain, it's just enough to be a nuisance. There's going to be some wet roads out there. You'll want to factor in a little extra drive time Thursday morning. Cold, drizzly to start, but temperatures above freezing. So this will not flash freeze, change over to ice or anything like that. We'll clear out, we'll dry out, winds pick up again, then it turns off, very cold again. Thursday night, look at Friday morning. Thursday night and Friday morning, again, a hard freeze with low 20s, temperatures down into the teens. So we do this again early Friday morning. In fact, wind chills will be down into the teens during the early morning hours. And as we look at the next big thing, kind of going beyond the 7-day forecast, this weekend, Saturday now looks dry. We'll start this out at Sunday. Models are showing a more active west to southwest pattern next week. I think we'll see a series of disturbances. One of those comes in late Sunday into Monday. No severe weather with this, but a good chance that we could see some rain that may continue into Monday night. And then as we go into Tuesday, we may catch a break, but it looks like again by Wednesday and Thursday and next week, another good chance for rain. So if I was planning next week, a big project outdoors right now, I'd say Tuesday's probably your best chance for some breaks in the wet weather, but that rain could come back as early as Wednesday, even Tuesday night, and then you can see there into Thursday of next week. So as we go from that to the 10-day forecast here, you'll see the rain chances that we're talking about there around Monday at 70%, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and next week, a good chance for wet weather. But the temperatures will be milder. We'll see those highs back into the 60s. But as we continue to bring the Weather Extra on our environment, meteorologist Shinty Rodriguez joins us now with how we can create clean energy from our home.
Solar, water, wind. Renewable energy is clean, abundant, and it creates jobs. And even though a majority of people are in favor of moving towards renewable energy, a recent study shows that only 8.8% of U.S. energy comes from renewable sources. Just one wind turbine can power up to 1,500 homes for a year, and renewable energy creates 5 times more jobs than fossil fuels. As Alexa Lorenzo reports, by switching to renewable energy, you're not only helping the environment, you're also investing in a brighter future for your family.
I just pedal right here and then he jumps.
Little Ryland's love of nature, especially for his pet toad Patrick, is fueled by his father's appreciation for the environment and renewable energy.
We choose to go not burning things. So we decided to go with a solar array.
Their neighbor, meteorologist Keith Cedar, has also turned to solar to power his house and cars.
A typical house uses on the order of 20 to 25 kilowatt hours a day. We generated about 1.5 times that yesterday.
Cedar says since installing these beautiful solar tiles, his electric bill is cut in half and his EVs are fueled for free.
It's not just that we believe in this and we're doing it because of the climate. All of these things are saving us money as well.
Cedar says he's on a mission to help others understand the importance of renewable energy.
As we move to renewables, which are wind and solar, The fuel is the weather.
One of the best ways to move forward is to educate yourself and your family. Implement renewable energy practices like using solar-powered chargers or energy-efficient appliances, and talk often about your choices.
We want to make the earth and our society a place that our kids can grow up in.
And make it fun. The EPA has free games and information for kids of all ages that will help them discover ways to save energy.
The idea would be for them to continue what we started here.
I'm Alexa Lorenzo reporting.
Switching to solar energy can be expensive, ranging anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. But federal tax credits and incentives can greatly reduce the price. You can also choose to do clean energy without solar panels, as many states offer programs to choose wind, solar, or hydro energy through your utility provider. A Rewiring America study found that households can save an average of $2,500 a year by switching appliances to clean energy.
All right, some great advice there, Cynthia, and we'll be right back. We're going to be taking a final check on that 10-day forecast. Plus, we got to check in with some of your weather photos that you've been sharing with us. I'll see you back here after the break. One of my favorite parts of the day, getting to share some of these lovely photos that you send us on social media, on our weather app. Kenny York sharing this lovely view from Fort Walton Beach. Of course, some of that cold air. I noticed a moment ago, it was 48 at Gulf Shore, so even down along the coast dealing with those cold conditions. Bob J. sharing this lovely sunset, and Norma Bryan from Lincoln County, Tennessee. I mean, that looks like that needs to be on a music album, right? Cover art. Just incredible view there with those colors. And Rodney Frazier, a lovely evening in the city of Birmingham.